talk a little bit about health. Now, how do today people, like I said in the beginning, people outsource health. If they have a headache or they have a body ache or whatever, the first thing they do is to rush out to somebody who's an expert, right, on that particular. And today now there are so many specialists on every part of your body, that it's just almost funny actually at some level. But they go on there and then they outsource it, saying that, okay, you tell me what I need to do. Right, that's the approach. So talk a little bit about what your perspective on health is, what your perspective on disease is, and just talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, one thing that I would say is, if somebody goes and says, hey, please help me out, I'm suffering, I think I'll be more happy to help such people, because what has happened today is all of them are over obliged to WhatsApp doctors. Every forward they come, they do everything, and then they forward it to 100 people, and they don't even think whether it is for them, whether it suits them. For example, I had this client who said, I've given up all sugars, still my sugar level is rising. Then I dug deep and then asked, then she's been using palm jaggery for everything. She's diabetic, 60 plus, has to undergo some treatment. And then somebody in the TV show has said palm jaggery will not raise your blood sugar. She's made everything with that kali, all of these things. Kali itself is it's a food that has to be given for somebody who needs to get nourished, improve weight, has to grow. It's not for old people, especially with when it is sweetened. So people just follow this blindly. Yeah. So the television, the media, and the social media, and WhatsApp doctors, these are the most dangerous ones than people actually reaching out to somebody. At least this much harm cannot happen there. Yeah, that is one thing that I wanted to say, because this is becoming so toxic these days. Even I'm getting, if somebody is forwarding me about food and how it does what, and there has been another forward which says curd rice is good for health. It increases the sleep and something else, some nonsense was there. Then I had to reply saying, this is what it is. You can't take it during the day. It can't be taken in this form. There are so many things, ifs and buts with one single food. You can't prescribe it for everybody. Even turmeric, if you take it in capsule form, there is a limitation to how much it can be taken. And whether it is required for Indians, with this COVID, everybody is taking COVID turmeric capsules. It's not required. We use it in our food directly. So it's really not required for us. Even if we take it, because it's going to affect your hemoglobin absorption. Iron absorption is affected when turmeric is in excess. Yeah. So just taking one thing from the West or one thing from WhatsApp and then implementing it and then forwarding to 100 people, I think that is something as people we need to stop. Yeah, that's my request to public. Yeah. About health, what the World Health Organization is clearly saying about health as physical, mental, social, and spiritual alertness of a well-being. So knowing why you're existing, what you're doing, some alertness on your consciousness, that's also part of health, apart from physical, mental, and social alertness. So your ability to be interact in a certain way with the community. We don't even interact nowadays. That's become probably a disaster. Earlier, the people in the streets used to interact so much. Now we don't even know who's living in the next house. Or even if they are there, interaction is quite tough.
Yeah.
So all of this has to be worked. I would like to emphasize here, some are into an extreme where they don't do any activity. There are some who do overactivity, and very few are actually doing a balance of food and activity and sleep and everything. These are the healthy people who live healthy physically, mentally, socially, and spiritually. Here, there will be definitely a physical and mental issue. Here, this extreme, because I'm having to speak about this today, because recently we have been seeing youngsters, all the famous people who are actually looking very physically fit are dying. Yeah. So what happens there is they do physical things perfectly, like eating and exercising. But whether they are sleeping, whether they are mentally in a very calmer state, that is questionable. That is not given equal importance. Spending nights with parties until 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock, and then or not everybody goes for a party, but what happens these days is at least till 12 o'clock, people think that they are relaxing and they're watching something on Netflix or some serial or something. This is very, very common. This is the foundation of diabetes. If sleep is affected, it affects your insulin, ghrelin, and leptin, your ability to control what you're eating, your ability to feel satisfied with every food that you eat is gone. That's why if one day's sleep is affected in the night, you feel like eating some snack or some sweet and still you're not satisfied. You're kind of imbalanced. If you observe it, you'll be able to see it. So this foundation is lost among many. People don't go to sleep by 9:30, 10 o'clock max. They end up sleeping late. And once this is screwed up, the stress hormones also goes for a toss. It's always on the edge. It's high. So you're prone for stress is the major factor for cardiac disease. Yeah? So if one has to live healthy, you have to see every plane. Am I in a good state physically, mentally, socially, and spiritually? Am I in a good state? If not, what am I missing? Yeah. Let's not do an extreme exercise. Just do it moderate, that you live gracefully. You don't live with pain. Let's not stop doing exercise or not doing anything. Again, your flexibility and your strength is going to be affected. Unless you move the muscle is not going to stay active. If there is no muscle, then the fat proportion in the body will keep increasing, which is also again unhealthy. So there has to be balance in everything that we do. Foundation is food, good sleep, and good physical activity. Extreme of all of this or not having any of these is going to cause disease. This ease is basically you are missing out your easiness in living. It could be at any level. It could be the physical level or it could be at the mental level. So I'm also seeing some of the not actually bodybuilders. They don't even go to Tamil Nadu or it's India or state level competition. Just the people who train in the gym. I see many of them just getting ready for a fancy competition, which is in next 3 months, where they have to look in a certain way. And they mindlessly take too much of those supplements, which is not really required for them. And they also take steroids. Okay. Yeah. So what one does for health, slowly it goes to an extreme where you do something for cosmetic purpose. You don't even earn any money out of it. Even those, they have stopped doing it. So they get into this extreme and physically or mentally, they may not see the effects, but psychologically, they become more aggressive people. They may become more angry or anxious people. Yeah. So socially, their behavior is gone. So nobody will be able to interact with them. Then you get into the next cycle. Then you become mentally unwell. Yeah. Unfortunately, in India, mentally not feeling well is not recognized as a problem. It's recognized as an extreme problem. Yeah. So if somebody says they are depressed, you think they are mad. Our conditioning is still the same. Yeah, but all of us go through this phase of depression or anxiety or something or the other, but we don't seek the right mechanism to just get rid of it. But we have all exposure to this all unnecessary things where one can just jump into it and then get caught there. So balance is at all level, physical, mental, social, and psychological level, spiritual level. If you know where you are, and if you can think about it, and if you can set a balance around all of these things, then you are sorted. You are safe from disease.
Interesting. I think it's interesting you mentioned this from a point of view of excess of health, or rather the consciousness that we need to exercise, heavy exercise. I think yesterday I was seeing some video which talked about this HIIT. I think it's called high intensity some training or something like that, where they're doing like only 7 to 10 minutes of training, but that's really stressing the heart to a large extent, and it's creating all kinds of complications. And like you rightly said, it's the WhatsApp university which is causing quite a bit of damage here. And that's one of the things which I've been talking about. I say that, look, when you take ownership of your food and health, you need to be worried about how your body responds. And I keep telling people, it is like your thumbprint. Your thumbprint is very different from anybody else's. It's actually unique. So what works for you will not work for other people, or what works for other people. So you cannot homogenize. You have to be in touch with your own body, your own food and health, to understand what works for you and what doesn't. So I think some of the old traditional methods of Ayurveda or some of those other methods which are more nuanced, it's not like one size fits all.
Yes.
So it has got to be, it's not like you have to have 8 glasses of water every day, whether you are this. So there are many such things. People say that, there are many of these things which have got ingrained in our minds that, you have to have 8 hours of sleep, or you have to have 8 glasses of water. Somebody has said, now even my famous example is the apple a day keeps the doctor away. I say that, in Tamil Nadu, we don't have apples. What do you do? So, so it's not about, so it's kind of a little, maybe it's westernized, maybe it is some way of we have lost touch with our health and food on one side, and with our own traditional culture on the other side.